I mean, sure. I mean, to me, it's just like, I think G2 objectively had a really good draft. But we gotta look forward as well, because...
That's the thing.
I do not see MKOI making this mistake twice in a row.
That would be egregious.
I really would believe that MKOI goes backstage right now and says, okay, guys, we all agree, we need some buttons that we can press so we can make things happen. They have selected blue side, and that means they can choose the champion that goes first. For me, on my mind, it's the Leona. We kind of went back
like
to
yesterday.
This.
I mean, it was the same. We were talking about it yesterday. Odo, Finn, and I, we've been talking about it throughout this game as well, because that just rises in priority. Not only is it the best engage support that's currently available, Poppy is out of the pool because it's just been picked. Braum is out of the pool because it's just been picked. It sounds weird to first pick Leona, but in these kind of situations, it worked yesterday. I think it can work again today.
I love it.
And what's most important right now, especially with G2 being red side, or whoever is red side, is that you need to properly, how to say, figure out the champions, make a tier list of what is remaining and what is your win condition, or what gives you enough win conditions. Because now, with all of the bruiser engagey junglers being out of the pool, you look at stuff like MKOI rising to the right, you look at Sejuani, you look at Ivan, and you switch to this utility. But the thing is, the one big constant will be the Leona. So now my big question for the upcoming draft is, what do you do about the Leona? Do you give it? Do you find counter-engage on MKOI or something else in the jungle?
I mean, to me, you have two options. You either take the Leona out and make both teams engageless, and then you draft a really long-range comp, or a comp that relies on a hyper carry that enemy team needs to engage on, and because the enemy can't do that in an easy manner, then you have a really simple mid to late game plan. Or you try to get the Leona no matter what, and just draft for the last possible dive comp that is left.
Yeah, but I'm also curious to see what the red side approach is, if it is to get rid of any of the engaged champions that Odo, you mentioned, Finn, because there's still two mid laners available. One of them's Yone, the other one's a Seer, and they are high priority.
Yeah, as we get into this draft, which could still very well be the last draft of the series, MKOI is still on match point Odoamne, this time on blue.
Exactly, but that's the thing. Once we see the Leona situation solve itself out, I do feel like going this late into Fearless, it's red side who has, how to say, the advantage, because when it comes down to all the engaged supports being out, then it becomes this sort of Enchanter meta. And who gets the better pairing of Enchanter? It's probably red side, because you do get to see the whole enemy draft, and you also get to counterpick enemy support.
Ice are also slightly now as we're approaching the later halves of the Fearless on the Blitzcrank. We both know Labrov and Alvaro has went towards the Blitzcrank in the past when all the engage is out. But there we go. As we say, the Leona first pick. We set it up and it just keeps happening in these game 4. Leona being the last engage support just has so much value.
And that's why I like the fact that MKOI banned this Draven, because when I think of Leona, I instantly think of Renata, because when you have the last dive comp in the game, Renata is absolutely deadly. So right now, you're just trying to isolate yourself from all of these pairings, and the Jinx pick does come through.
Could come through with a Sejuani as well here if they just want that jungler right now. Definitely one of the better ones still up and available after the bans we've seen coming through. And I like you highlighting earlier as well, Finn, that it could potentially also just be enchanters coming through. We've seen anyone that can buy Mikhails that can kind of help this Jinx come into a point where she can actually be hyper carried.
I also like a Tahm Kench, for example. I think I don't see enough Tahm Kench into the Leona. It's pretty hard.
Okay, this is risky. And he did this in finals in winter against KC. And I have to tell you, it was a bad Thresh. It was a bad Thresh. It did not work out the way that they wanted. Now, this is an OG Thresh into Leona counter pick because you play out of the Zenith Blade. But I mean, this has to be a redemption game from Labrov.
Is standing up. He's this adamant about it. I love it. Great focus.
The only thing that can save this team comp, or at least solve it for G2, is the Ornn or is the Sejuani. You need more proactivity, because Thresh is pretty much a jack of all trades. He brings the follow-up to any sort of engage, but he can also bail out the Jinx.
Yeah, and I'm saying this not because I'm Swedish and not because it's my favorite food, but G2 needs a fat meatball right now. They need someone in the front that allows the team to walk up with them. And I think here you either pick your Sejuani or you get the Ornn. Because I think a lot of mid laners are out, you are allowed to drop mid lane, and you really need to take this champion while you can.
Sorry, I can't recover.
No, it's a skinny legend.
Do you like the Skarner meatball?
It's a bit of a rocky meatball, but it will suffice for this moment.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I do not hate it though. I think Skarner into Naafiri, I don't often see Skarner be able to lock the Naafiri down, but it's also just that potential threat of the CC that can peel for the Jinx, like be that frontliner, that meatball. That thing is so craving.
More as like a peel, because as you say, like Ezreal, you're not getting him. Naafiri is difficult. You have immediately the stun that can come out of Leona. Like, it's still situation dependent.
It's a utility pick, and I feel like it's already shaping up to be this immense bot lane game where either Ezreal or Jinx is looking to take over the game, and realistically, you're not looking to kill the backline here anymore, either on the side of... Well, you would have with Leona on the side of MKOI, but now with the Thresh and the Jinx being in, it feels like already you're shifting your win conditions, or both these teams are shifting their win conditions to be making it a frontline battle.
Yeah, and I really like that G2, after the previous game, have realized, guys, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can draft standard front-to-back comp, and we have good players. We see the Jinx version already picked, and I'm gonna imagine we're gonna get a control mage on 4 here by Caps. I'm thinking either way or Orianna is gonna come out and they're gonna give BB that counter pick, because with the Skarner in the jungle, he can kind of go a little bit more free. You don't really need the tank in the top lane together with the Skarner, but it just allows G2 to really round out their comp in any way they find fit.
I feel like if you're not picking a tank on top, you're completely griefing, because if you have Jinx in your team comp, come on, just put all the eggs in the Jinx basket and let her get excited.
It's G2, they're gonna. I feel like.
We'll see here.
No. I already put my glasses on and Caps already won a game, so for sure they're not. Like, surely they're not gonna do it, right?
I mean, in terms of like responses into the own, you have Now, you have Camille out. Like, what's the better options into it as well at this point? This deep into Fearless.
There's probably a Renekton hiding around the corner. So now it is the big question: are they gonna give Caps 4 pick here? And I do think this is the correct pick.
With the Thresh, I like it.
It's a classic front-to-back comp. You have a lot of zone control with the ball, and the enemy team kind of has to dive either the Jinx or the Orianna, sorry. And whoever they don't dive has the ability to kind of clean up that fight.
As we blast from the past.
I mean, this composition from G2 does feel very old school, doesn't it?
You
see a Jinx, you see a Thresh, you're getting that Orianna in there. I love what we're getting out of Fearless right now here.
We saw this yesterday. I don't want to talk about hovers, but what do you think?
It was quite frankly really good yesterday.
It was great.
Yeah,
I'm getting deja vu from their series in the upper bracket final, because last time Myrwn played his anti-blind and Broken just sent out his iconic Swain and had a really good game on the Swain. I'm not saying Swain is the best pick here, but I think it kind of fits that way where he can kind of play as a frontline in that demonic ascension form.
I feel like there's just too much mobility on the side of MKOI for him to end up going for that Swain.
I think,
at the same time, I do feel like this Cassante.
Now there's mobility as well.
Now there's a lot of drive, and now all of a sudden I like MKOI's team comp.
You do?
And what makes Kassadin so fantastic, but what makes Kassadin so fantastic is there's barely any lockdown CC, right? Like, it has to come down from the Skarner, but from a Thresh to hit a skill shot, that's gonna be so difficult.
That is tough. The Mundo, Dr. Mundo comes in, but at the same time, it is a tank, it is a big beefy boy, it would win and make a lot of... It is a meatball, like Finn likes his meatballs.
He's even throwing meatballs.
He's even throwing meatballs, but at the same time, it's not the kind of meatball we like here. We like a meatball that has a lot of CC, because I feel like you just don't have enough peel, especially when you go 5 pick for this Jinx to survive the
sunglasses are off. The sunglasses are off. He's not. He's not backing his boys, casters. He's not backing his boys. What do you think? Game 5 or no?
And here we are. What a draft for game 4. Push. It's a pretty hype Kassadin angle. It might even be a more hype Mundo angle. I don't know who kills this pick.
I'm definitely more hyped about the Mundo, because if my characters are Ezreal Kassadin, it's so damn difficult to kill this Dr. Mundo, and I love that we're seeing it brought out. What a blessing Fearless is. So many cool picks being brought out today.
Yeah, and really balancing out the rest of this draft, giving them that strong counter pick. It is a very stable draft from G2. Jinx, Orianna, old school, classic carries. All very fair.
Who the hell locks down Jojo?
I don't know, man.
Do you need to?
Like,
okay.
I mean, I don't know. If it
does damage.
The thing is, if my Thresh and my Skarner are sitting on the carries, and Broken Blade can be as tanky as he was last game, can Jojo ever go in?
As long as we're asking questions.
Because last game it was a great Silas game, but you saw how it is to play a melee champion when you don't have enough damage to get through the front line. It's so difficult if enemy is playing very organized and all together and not also giving you that flank.
Phase Rush Orianna with Clockwork windup in early levels just makes this lane phase so miserable. Yes, Jojopyun has 10% reduced magic damage from being casted. Yes, he has a magic damage shield, but Caps could just lay down that damage early.
Yeah, I just get very scared when I see a Kassadin that the enemy team has very little lockdown. even going for a second win and stuff in the runes, not going for the domination as he typed in chat yesterday. But I definitely think as this game starts to go on, Jojo could be a massive threat, but Broken Blade more than likely not going to be a pushover either.
No, it certainly will not.
It's so cocky, you know, playing this Kassadin up against Caps. If there's one player in our league that it will really be able to punish you for cockiness, it's Caps.
It's Caps, 100%. But, I mean, look, here we are. MKOI, so much momentum. Game 3, G2 absolutely out-drafting, out-executing in the game. Game 4, two pretty crazy drafts. G2's a little bit easier to understand. I think we've seen this one across many years of League of Legends. The Mundo kind of the exception.
And the biggest fear I have for Jojo in this matchup is when you're playing something like this Kassadin, you'd really want a jungler that is okay sacrificing Caps to try to help you out in this middle lane. But he has a Naafiri, and it's the enemy that actually has the Skarner that can look to impact mid and try to shut Jojo down. So I feel like if SkewMond plays his cards right, and they're able to scout out some of this vision, they can build a huge lead in middle lane.
Definitely an angle of attack as Elyoya going to start the invade here. Might end up in a split map situation.
But Elyoya's creativity. Every single game he's finding either invades or picks or ganks.
And even avoiding the ward as well. He saw Caps move in towards his bottom side toward the Raptors, and basically G2 have no idea where MKOI is. You see the ward just there that was placed, so he's going to avoid that, clear at the bottom side, and Hansam already off to an awkward start.
A bit of a struggle here.
They could look to cancel his base here with Elyoya being behind. Maybe doesn't quite reach him, but still, Hansama is going to lose a full wave here. Bit of a disastrous early game for him.
Very rough. Aftershock there for Labrov as well as the Ignite. Tower diving him would be difficult, but not impossible. They're looking for the setup now. Alvaro taking his time, going to walk in for the Q. Good hook onto Elyoya to try and mitigate the damage. But the aggro has been tanked beautifully. Elyoya just resets, and that's the beauty of the Naafiri.
It was so well played by MKOI. So Alvaro starts it off looking like he's going to hit Labrov and start tanking it. So Labrov throws out the hook, but MKOI again, patient on the dive, so it's Elyoya who tanks and ends up getting that kill then for the Naafiri.
And this is why people don't play Thresh anymore. It used to win lane, but it does no longer. As Elyoya here trying to fight with SkewMond, but Caps is the one who can move first. But SkewMond was caught unaware again. He enters his bot side to find his Jinx in base, his Thresh dead, and his Blue and Grump gone.
It's a tough life. You're playing the supportive pick, but already the lanes are in a difficult spot. They're going to demand that support instead of it being a boon or a benefit.
We get to see here exactly what happened. So Labrov not in position for the play,
but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you need to be in a position to try and flay away the Zenith blade, or else that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and we know Labrov historically made his name on Thresh. It is an iconic Labrov pick. When he came to this league, it was something we were excited for. But you highlighted, this is a champion that the years have not been kind to Thresh. If he wins so hard. If he loses, he's on lantern duty for the rest of the game. And this is an opportunity now for G2 to change that story, maybe to force a dive of their own.
Yeah, Supa might need the lantern himself, but I don't know if there's one going to be coming from the heavens. Supa at least knows that it's happening. Just going to get some poke on towards Supa, but Alvaro managing to reconnect with him the bottom side, so nothing more will come of it.
But the real winner of this is SkewMond, is he was able to now take both the Raptors and the Krugs and get himself kind of back in the game, getting the bot crab as well. So a start that you thought would maybe be a disaster for him ends up being a relatively equal jungle so far.
Brookwood trying to clear the waves. Just want to take a tower shot there. This is the two beefiest boys in the top lane.
So just some context on this top lane matchup. Mundo, very weak early game. He just looks to scale up, and then eventually once he gets his Warmogs is when he can trade really aggressively, because any trade is a winning trade as he just regens that HP back up.
And you can see there, that's the Thresh Leona interaction from Season 3 that everyone was excited about. You are able to play him out as Elyoya suppressed, knocked into the wall. Caps resetting, just trying to fight. A little bit there. Good on SkewMond, not going to let his jungle be taken so easily as Elyoya and Jojopyun relatively low, only level 5 for Caps. They really want to get that wave in. SkewMond threatening but can't quite find the angle. Jojopyun though, no level 6, means he's very slowly going to leave. This is going to delay his recall quite significantly.
But it's a great early laning phase from Jojo, only being down 6 CS at 5 minutes. As the Kassadin, you're very, very happy about that. But G2 here able to continue canceling Jojo, but ooh. Supa, Alvaro moving first.
Hook onto Jojopyun, he might be in trouble. The traps are laid down there as well. The Kassadin now in trouble. Jojopyun going to be forced to flash in a second, but he doesn't even have the time. Hansama finding one kill. Quick reset. Elyoya blinking. Low health in the back line. Kassadin immediately in. G2 getting 2. Alvaro running, trying to stand tall. He's so damn tanky, but he
3 kills for G2 to start this one off. What a fight from G2 and a hook from Labrov to start it all off.
And just as I was saying, Jojo was not doing that bad. Caps picks up 2 kills, nearly a 1,000 gold lead, as it all kicks off with Labrov's brilliant hook. It's chained into the Jinx traps, and then Labrov holds the flay, not giving Jojo the angle to flash over the wall. Caps flashes in, picks up Elyoya, gives Jinx the reset, so they can continue chasing down for Alvaro as well.
And this is devastating. You had already started the lane phase off so well against the Jinx, who just wants to scale, but now she's gotten 1 kill, 1 assist. Caps, who was barely winning, as you highlighted before, just a small CS lead. Incredibly comfortable now. That gold lead is only going to continue to be a big problem for Jojopyun.
And in the top side, this is kind of the point where Broken Blade just gets to be happy in this lane. He has the ultimate available, which makes it very difficult to actually push him out of lane. And G2 now push on boss, 2 kills for the Orianna, get control over Dragon. You can start to get this late game comp on its feet nice and early, and MKOI going to need to try and find a way to break that.
And a gold lead on this G2 comp feels so damn dangerous. Jinx Orianna with a brilliant front line feels unstoppable.
And we talked about the Thresh, right? This is a champion who doesn't always lose gracefully, but when you get ahead, when you get vision first, every bush becomes terrifying for MKOI. Everyone can have a Thresh with a lantern to bring a jungler in behind him, a hook that can come out of it. So MKOI are going to have to respect. Jojopyun luckily has made it to 6, but doing his best to keep it even.
It also just alleviates all the pressure from the carries, as they can play so much more aggressive because they have the safety of that Thresh lantern to always help them out. But now Labrov with the roam down to mid.
Hook predict.
Jojopyun. Oh, manages to get the buffer out. We'll be fine. But Labrov did read him like a book.
I mean, it's classic, you know. Kassadin will always think he'll try to predict my hook. So he doesn't, but he gets the buffer anyways.
Well, what's is he gonna go 2 for 2 here? Is Myrwn overextended?
Definitely is. No Q3 ready to go. Labrov takes his time, starts with a flay. Myrwn Q3 in there. Hansama around. Only gonna be able to catch out Labrov. Pathmaker flashing, sidestepping on the hook. Elyoya still here. Alvaro on the way up as well. G2 gonna be forced to back away. If MKOI can transition to the grubs, it's not gonna feel too bad, but they're losing out on pressure. And Jojopyun can't do anything to stop this Mundo.
Push. And it's coming through. He's going to become a major threat. So basically the idea with this Mundo build, if it is the one he's going for, is Warmogs, Hard Steel, into Titanic Hydra. You become a monster at taking turrets in the side lane and very quick at killing members of the enemy team as well, especially the squishies. But we'll have to see if that's going to be the case as he continues down the bottom side.
He doesn't give a damn. He's just looking forward.
Unconcerned. I mean, good news is they get 3 grubs, but it doesn't get easier for Jojopyun as it continues here.
But that does actually feel quite good for MKOI. I was thinking that G2 would be able to contest at least a few of them with Caps having a full item, which is so big for this Dr. Mundo. That's going to continue to split push. The fact that he doesn't have those grubs is going to slow him down quite a bit.
Definitely will. Elyoya trying to contest here on the blue buff, but SkewMond the smite is good. 1 Drake to the 3 grubs. G2 already getting 1 of the feats, would love to have the second. See if they can break a tower here.
I mean, demolish prop.
Gosh, here we go.
He still has ult, even if he goes low here. Yeah, you just ignore all the damage. It's disgusting.
There from Myrwn, decent damage. Going forward just to threaten.
A little grass approach. As both top laners are looking pretty damn hard to kill, but it's Broken Blade getting the plates, getting the pressure down. As it's a bit of an unfortunate lane assignment here from MKOI. Broken Blade just being able to extend his lead further.
Fair Myrwn. Not doing too shabby either. Got 2 plates in that top side, I believe, for himself anyway, so he's going to be at least keeping even, and also has the coal. So at the moment, using that extra gold that he got off, they're going to be able to keep himself ahead. Just barely, but yeah. This Mundo build is so disgusting. Shout out to Alois, who, okay, I'm not going to go for exactly his build. Actually going to be the Heartsteel first, but it is an insanely strong build.
Look, to be fair, you're either landing against a Leona, a Cassante, or a Kassadin, just about guaranteed. You're going to be getting a mad procs on the Heartsteel.
So what he's doing right now is like the more greedy version. As when you go Warmogs, you get a really good laning phase because you just have the HP regen always. But with the Heartsteel, you get to start stacking faster and earlier, which is going to be really nice up against any of those, as you said. But you lose out on the regen. But I don't blame him at all for going this Heartsteel first, as it just allows him to scale and stack so much faster.
It definitely does, and you can see SkewMond, despite the initial early ganks going in favor of Elyoya, sitting pretty comfortable in this game. Hasn't quite hit Heartsteel for himself, but Elyoya not feeling confident to walk in and force that 1v1. Especially as Caps has essentially permanent pressure here in the mid lane. Quickly stacking up that tier, and Jojopyun, now we got a tier, we're working towards a Rod of Ages. It's going to take some time before he starts to feel relevant.
There's the Heartsteel clunk, but
Q3.
I think it is going to be relatively difficult for Jojo to get into a position where he is a big threat at the moment. They've kind of moved him to the bottom side in hopes to get him some farm in CS, but then he moved back mid, ended up missing the wave, and Caps is slowly but surely getting an experience lead.
Myrwn. W in, breaks the shield. Might want to try and go all in, but just gets the ulti out from Broken Blade, and he's going to be healthy again.
But he just got 2 plates with that Demolish proc, so...
2 plates and a Heartsteel proc, baby. He's
a happy banker right now.
Yes, he is. There's a lot of good interest in this one.
And it's double Heartsteel for the side of G2. They are stacking it up.
Well, and they're the beefy boys on this team. Everyone in MKOI except for Myrwn just backs away. Although Alvaro maybe should have backed away. That's the hook coming through. Play to follow. SkewMond doesn't want to burn ulti. Just giving anything up. Alvaro's still quite tanky. Is spotted out Jojopyun. Labrov waiting for another hook. Dragon has spawned. G2 full control of the objective. Just now we get the control ward down. Alvaro backstepping. Perfectly predicted. Tries to flash, but likely to fall. Instantly knocked into the wall. Labrov taking the kill from the Ignite. Not ideal, but now the Dragon's all but secured.
And it's a great Thresh performance from Labrov. Back-to-back hooks. He's just able to find so much pressure, and it's going to be Drake going over for the side of G2.
Ulti through from Myrwn, good damage. Is going to force the flash out from Broken Blade at the very least. Double TPs coming in. Jojopyun will back up. He's not interested in that one.
But it's kind of the desync from MKOI again. We're not seeing Alvaro and Elyoya working together as well as they usually do. It's Alvaro on his own trying to get in vision for the Dragon that has already spawned. And now Elyoya is going to see if he can try and move in towards the top side, but Jojo has to abandon ship already.
It is a struggle. And Labrov, as you highlighted, consistently finding these hooks, doing a great job of playing in the fog of war. And that's what you want when you have the Thresh, laying that deep vision, using it to full effect.
But it's what you want if you're a G2 fan. It's this flip of the script. All series long in Game 1 and Game 2, we're saying, where are SkewMond and Labrov? They're not on the same page. They're not working together. This time around, it's having SkewMond with them, Hansama coming in tow, and the confidence that we're now starting to see from the jungle support.
And it's an Ocean Soul. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan of Ocean Soul, but if you get that on this Skarner, on this Dr. Mundo, they're not dying.
Mundo's gonna have a good old time.
He's already going where he pleases. I don't know where he will go with the Ocean Soul.
I think MKOI would definitely call him such a banker at the end of this.
Yeah, it feels like the path to Silver Scrapes. Push, push, push.
It's another one.
Oh, Miami's calling! Oh, who is he calling?
Where's the stocks?
Oh, no. He might be the banker, but Myrwn's is the one asking for a bailout right now, bro. This is a struggle. Elyoya and Jojo going to try to make something happen. Quick ulti out from Elyoya. Shockwave still available. Caps, nice use of the ult. Flashing back. SkewMond there to cover. Probably doesn't have enough damage to get anything else done, but will at least zone away. They get Caps' flash, but for the flash of Elyoya and Jojopyun.
SkewMond wants the Heartsteel. Oh, he got it, but he might have.
Yeah, how much is it going to cost him? It's going to cost him a flash.
That's worth. That's worth. Flash is finite, stack infinite.
That is true.
I mean, look, they just wish we were playing Arena right now so they could get the augment. But I will say this is not what I expected from Game 4. You know, Game 1, Game 2, full confidence from MKOI. G2 impressive that they turned it back. I'll remind you again of the stat we brought up earlier. It looks bad because it shows Caps going 0-3 3 times, but those are just the only finals he's lost are all 0-3s. He's won a game now. Suddenly G2 starting to feel like that inevitable force once again.
And it's MKOI who haven't been able to take down G2 in a final, and with the G2 in the position that they are in, it feels like they're going to get to scale. They're going to get to that position where they're unstoppable. It feels like G2 of old with Caps in a side lane, getting advantages for himself, having SkewMond to support him, even Labrov starting to roam towards that top side as well. And this is when G2 become their most dangerous, and this is where you need to dig deep as MKOI and find something that can hold on to you in this game and in this series.
And it's so difficult for MKOI when you have 2 losing sides here. You don't have any cross-map potential. So you're just going to have to drop this top tower, you're going to have to drop this Rift Herald, and you're not able to get anything on the return because it's an unkillable Dr. Mundo in the bottom lane.
Yeah, it's not getting any better on that front. Once again, Jojopyun will have to try to chip away slowly at that health bar, as Hansama has been able to sit very comfortably in this early game, despite the initial play going against them. Elyoya now retreating over the wall. It's a difficult spot to be in for sure. Almost 2K gold lead for Caps. Of course, anytime a Kassadin's in the game, you got the timer meme ready to go. You're counting time down. Level 16, only 5 away. But 2K is not ideal. I don't think Dopa was dropping 2K when he was playing Kassadin in every single game. You know, I think that's not part of the plan.
But I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm coping here, but even if this Kassadin hits level 16, I'm not that worried as G2. Like, if Skarner is always sitting on the carries, holding his E, Thresh is holding his abilities.
I mean, also, Myrwn, if he ever ults and is next to Dr. Mundo, he just does not have enough health to live through that combo. I mean, look what the...
Bro, everybody loves the most farming in this series. I love it.
But again, this is now an issue. Like, Broken, whatever about, you know, getting Jojo to backline and getting access to team fights, you just have a threat you cannot deal with on a side lane as MKOI. Jojo can't deal with him, Myrwn can't deal with him, he's going to get to continue to free farm, Warmog's nearly completed, which makes it only 10 times worse, and he's going to continue to push sides, you group mid, you get tower, and this is a very simple formula for G2 to replicate.
But what I'm really surprised about is the fact that Myrwn is actually ahead, because I feel like Broken Blade, he just got full bot tower, we've just watched him do whatever he wants, but Myrwn is actually the one that's on paper stronger at least.
True, but he did buy Cole and then sell Cole. And that is most of the gold lead, although he did just catch a wave to further extend it. I mean, maybe he can be the guy. If you find an isolated Hansama, if Labrov has wasted the Lantern, there are angles, but again, you have to add a lot more ifs when you're talking about how MKOI are going to find these angles, whereas G2 with this kind of lead seem to be in a much more comfortable spot.
Supa, going for the aggressive E there, as Jojo's moved all the way down to mid. That does mean that Broken Blade can now continue pushing it top, but he decides to TP instead.
Onto Alvaro. Flash out. See the play going the wrong way. Supa trying to retreat. Caps just goes in. Caps caught out. The Lantern not quite there. Caps just going down! The shutdown, but here comes Dr. Mundo. Mounted up, riding into the wall. We'll see how much he can go where he pleases, because I don't know if he pleases to be in the back line. Reset coming in for Elyoya. Myrwn ready to go with the Q3. Labrov finally finds the hook, but it might not matter. Jojopyun off to the side. G2. What are they doing? How unkillable is that front line? They're really trying to test the waters here. The Lantern taking one out. Broken Blade still just refuses to die, but finally they'll find it. What a colossal throw!
It took an age, but MKOI were able to take G2 down eventually. Caps runs into the midst of MKOI and gets put in his place.
I think G2 took themselves down. What was that? Such an uncharacteristic mistake from Caps, and then Broken Blade wants to ride the Herald into 5. I mean, he was damn tanky. He lived for a long time, but this was an unprecedented throw.
Now Elyoya with a big gold lead. It's going to make it so much harder for Hansama to survive in these fights. So much harder for Caps. Even as he has the Seekers now to help him in the following fight. And that was one mistake. G2, I don't know how likely it is that they get another as Supa is zoned off. They will at least break the mid lane tower. G2 going to rebuild some of the gold lead that they lost. Caps off on the side, still ready to pounce on Jojopyun.
And it's important to note, this Orianna is still up 1.7k, 1.8k, and they still have 2 Drakes, only 1 Drake for the side of MKOI. It's still a game that has much favor towards G2, but making these sort of mistakes just tells me that this game can go anywhere.
Definitely does.
They were dashing forward.
Not afraid, the hook already down. MKOI trying to keep the pressure on. But you highlighted 2K deficit for this Orianna. Will stop off a defensive item, which makes it a bit easier. But more time for Kassadin is always a good thing. And Hansama's 1.5 items, not that close to 3. They have to be careful for the next few fights.
But you can see that the nerves and the pressure are starting to get to them. You saw the Alvaro when he flashed away, sent it bladed the wrong way. Caps just kind of walking in, losing his mind a little bit. And this is what happens when you're not, like, you're feeling the pressure, you're getting nervous, and then suddenly something goes wrong. And that's what makes these games much closer than they even should be, because all it takes is one mistake.
But that's why I like the way G2 are looking to build. It's about creating insurance plans for when the proverbial stuff hits the fan. Like, you've got already the Seeker's Arm Guard in there for Caps. Now you've got the Mikhail's Crucible for Labrov. He already had the cleanse for Hansama. They know that essentially all they need to do is keep these key carries safe. and you have so many tools to try and do that. And that's not even, again, to mention that Broken Blade is going to go to Titanic Hydra next and then just becomes an AD carry. So you have tons of opportunities for G2 to play through the strengths of we don't die and we keep the backline safe.
Definitely do. And Leona, a champion that is so powerful, so tanky, but tenacity exists. And now that so many Merc Treads are coming through, a lot of that CC is less valuable. The MKOI's also mitigating a lot of that potential pick action that MKOI can look for. Kassadin's still there. The insurance, the scaling policy, but G2 with insurance policies of their own. I feel so old. We've talked so much about insurance and banking this game.
That's what started earlier today. I'm not gonna lie. We were hanging out, so.
Well, I don't know who wins this. I suspect we'll never know because I can't imagine this fight ends. That's not going to stop Myrwn from trying, though. Ulti through. Resets the Q. W path. Victory finds it! Solo kill!
It ended pretty damn fast. He just one-shot him.
It's more than on paper, Mr. Spectra. That was Myrwn picking up the pieces of Broken Blade, and now he's alone in this top turret. A demolish, he can get it.
I didn't think the Mundo could die. I thought the Mundo wasn't supposed to die. That was the whole point. But the Kassadin damage is real, and now MKOI, confidence accelerating the pace of the game, and we've seen G2 at their best. Yes, they can respond to this, but games 1, game 2, when they were behind the wheel, when they were behind the play, it all fell apart.
But they're trying to get down to this bottom side. G2 scrambling, Hansam is still away. Labrov could try and get him in with the Lantern if you need to, but the TP now from both Jojo and Myrwn.
Broken Blade up in 5, has to teleport, but it's already ticking so dangerously low.
Going over the wall. Hook gonna connect. Can they burst through this Kassadin? Myrwn off to the side, looking to catch out Cap. Jojopyun running 1 more second on the reset. He gets the flash, trying to ulti out. He manages to get away for a brief moment, but Broken Blade is finally here. Myrwn doesn't have the time to try and take him down. The Lantern now going in. Jojopyun taking out. Labrov starting to take over the fight, looking for Hook, continuing to step up, but Myrwn is isolated Caps. Caps going golden. A few more tower shots might not be enough, though, but Labrov should be here with the Lantern. No, not quite in range in time. Now the Ezreal ult across the top. Q3 to connect on Labrov. Elyoya ready for the re-engage, but the front line still standing strong. Broken Blade and SkewMond holding the line in an incredibly chaotic engage. Elyoya ready to go in. Myrwn behind. Broken Blade Lantern out to safety. Ulti in. Q3 managing to grab LeBron. That's going to be 1 kill. Supa still on top, but also finds the reset. He's out of mana. No more rockets. G2 retreating, backing away. But Elyoya
Wants to look for the chase.
Water. Barely able to stop him. Excellent from SkewMond, but he's going to give his own life. Q not quite going to hit. Forced back.
Oh my god, what is this game? Myrwn is a one-man army. I thought the Dr. Mundo and the Skarner would be the 2 tanks, but this Kassadin is the one who's so unkillable, as he just generates so much pressure. But it's... what is this game?
It's all armor, no problem for Myrwn. Because as he goes forward here, as Jojo gets caught, everyone in G2 turns onto him, but Myrwn is setting up on this top side for SkewMond, trying to keep him out of the fight and let Supa do his thing. G2 then turn forward on towards Jojo, but watch Myrwn, he's just gone for Caps. I mean, all of the armor he has, he's just tanking up all these terror shots. He doesn't care. G2 try and turn around, and Supa, with a good arcade or true shot barrage over the top, ends up taking just the health bars down so low for the follow-up.
And Hansama goes before he's able to kill Myrwn. That's how tanky Myrwn is, while he's still tanky towers.
That flash from Alvaro crucial. That was the last drip of mana that Hansama had, but now we're back into the fight.
Hook connecting onto Myrwn. Can anyone kill this? The answer is it has to be Caps. Just a little bit of MR in his build, otherwise full armor, as you highlighted before, Rob. MKOI behind in Drake's. Won the last fight. Gold lead now in their favors. Jojopyun tries to find a flank. He's on a ward. Labrov hoping to find that hook. G2 don't want to give anything away. Playing slow, playing control, but mid lane tower is getting lower. Supa can just walk up and take that one down. Who can they jump on? Who can they find? Myrwn playing with confidence. Jojo on the flank, immediately face first into Caps, ready to reset as Elyoya goes over the wall. Great Lantern from Labrov to deny the play for a brief moment. SkewMond still tanking, but he's not tanking for anyone else. Broken Blade forced to retreat as well. Myrwn starting to feel like an inevitability. He cannot be stopped. Jojopyun takes out SkewMond. The hook connects for Labrov, but it's just not a target that they want to hit.
The fact that MKOI are continuing to find these fights is insane. G2 are trying to stand as a bulwark around Hansama, but they're getting pulled every which way, and MKOI are finding their way through the cracks.
And I thought Kassadin level 16 wouldn't be enough, but they don't even need it, as it's Myrwn that's just so unkillable with his full armor. This Jinx does no damage. They desperately need some armor penetration on him.
And in game 3, the Nidalee wasn't it, but in game 4, the Kassadin is doing so much work. He wasn't the tank we were looking at, but he damn well should have been.
But look at how well you're pulling people apart here as MKOI. SkewMond goes over the wall to deal with Jojopyun, which means that then Hansama is only hitting on towards Myrwn in the front line here, whereas Supa is getting damage done. Jojo and Elyoya have the damage to get through SkewMond, and it's just not enough in the tank yet for G2 to carry these fights, but they keep taking the fights.
100%. Every time the fight gets split up, a lot of their opportunities disappear. The Orianna not able to find that impact. It was a 2K gold lead, and yet Caps walks in on the first fight, gets caught off on the side in the second fight, has not been able to put that lead to good use.
And that was the thing. It's the solo laners, the core of G2, that have made some crucial errors. Caps getting caught. Then it was Broken Blade dying in the 1v1 versus Myrwn, which then set up for the Adacon on the bottom side of the fight. These are the members that are supposed to rise up in these moments, but it's MKOI who are taking them down.
Now Jojopyun on the hunt. He's so tanky with the Roa, with the Seraphs.
And Jojo's about to get his Rod of Ages up to 10 stacks here. He's so damn close to level 16.
He's going to tick over very quickly. One more wave is enough. 15 immediately ticks up. One more creep is going to give it to him. Production, I know you've got it ready. You can slam it a little bit early. The Kassadin has finally, well and truly arrived. G2. If the odds weren't stacked against them enough, it's only going to get harder from here.
But what a moment for MKOI, for what it looked like. An inevitable game 5. Now maybe just teetering back in their favor. They're starting to set up the push in mid, starting to lean in towards that bottom side, starting to believe that maybe they can carry this game forward. But G2, 3 items now on towards Hansama. I think they're just one last whisper away from Hansama being able to tear through a lot of what MKOI defenses are.
Caps playing with fire a little bit.
So strange to see here. Like, Caps is the one that's up 1k gold, yet he can't even approach the wave up against Jojopyun. And it feels so difficult now for G2 to contest any sort of objective. We talked about it earlier, but Thresh is like, yes, it's so useful when you're ahead, but when you're behind, even if he lands a hook, it's just not enough.
Yeah, the amount of targets you can reliably hit at this point is really just to squish your members. But even Elyoya, if you don't have perfect follow-up, Supa can arcane shift out. Jojopyun is so difficult to lock down. He's also pretty damn tanky as well.
But it's so difficult to lock him down where you don't know where he is. G2 are just struggling to get vision in their own jungle. They're struggling to spot where MKOI is, and so much of SkewMond and Labrov is consistently needing that vision to be able to hold MKOI in place. Now it feels like they're going into the dark, and it is filled with terrors.
And again, it's all eyes on Hansama. I feel like I said it in Game 3. It ended up being so much about how well Labrov and SkewMond work together on the Alistar and the Vi. But in this game, even more than the Kai'Sa game, it is all eyes on this Jinx to carry. 3 items now, but needs armor pen.
He needs
and that's what's infuriating about playing against this K'Sante in so many other games. This would be a PowerPoint. As Jojopyun doesn't, he takes half his health for free, and Caps, credit to him for the confidence, knows that he has a Lantern waiting. But you just cannot live in a side lane against this Kassadin as Caps.
Especially as he's starting to get Ocean Dragons, so he's just going to continue to get this nice little bit of regen. You've got a minute and a half until that next Ocean Dragon is up and available, and honestly, with the positioning that you have, I think this is where you send Jojopyun top. Yeah, they're about to go for it now, and then you can have him threaten that tier 2 in the top side, get more gold on towards him.
Oh,
Myrwn in behind.
TP behind. MKOI confident. They want to force something here. Push back from SkewMond to Solid. Labrov flashing out of the wall, trying to make sure his AD carry has way out. Elyoya looking to catch up. Broken Blade on the side. Hansama getting lower and lower, and he's taken down from downtown. And it's Supa who finishes the job. Labrov caught out as well.
They just catch Hansama perfectly. The Lantern, the flash, everything used to try and escape, but the Kassadin's claws are around the throat of G2.
And MKOI identified their team comp so perfectly, flanking to make Hansama's game unplayable. As they take down Hansama, they will take down the Nasher. And you gotta start to feel that maybe this series is going to MKOI.
MKOI, a team that was doubted so many times, so many steps along the way. Beat KC twice to be here, fell once to G2, but are not looking to make the same mistake twice, learned from their failures. prepped for this series as well, and that preparation is paying off.
But it isn't prep for just this series. This is prep that's a year in the making. It's prep and revenge that is starting to come to fruition as G2 trying to take down Myrwn in the top side, but MKOI are collapsing.
Caps shadowing behind. G2 ready to force the fight. Decent chunk comes in from Supa. Broken Blade relatively unfazed. MKOI continuing to poke, continuing to threaten. Jojopyun ready to start that Drake solo if needed. Doesn't have a jungler around though, so might be a bit risky as we take a look back.
And it's a great TP here from Jojo and a great flank by Myrwn. You can see they're approaching from both sides. So Labrov here, I love how he plays it. He throws the lantern at Hansama. Hansama waits, and then he flashes over the wall with the lantern. But it doesn't matter. You have a lantern, you have flash on Thresh, and you have the Jinx flash. But it's still not enough to get away from this Kassadin.
And that was the thing. Who locks down the Kassadin? Who keeps this Kassadin in check? There's now 3 items onto Jojopyun. Supa, untouched, living his best life as an AD carry in the backline. And now a 3rd Ocean Dragon going to MKOI with G2 stuck in the base, floundering.
And again, after the last death, Hansama was able to pick up the last Whisper, but he needs more money, he needs more time, and again, it just feels impossible in an even game state. It'd be so much easier to play, but the vision isn't in their favor. The gold is not in their favor. The scaling debatable, but it feels like everything is stacked against G2 now.
And to add on to that, now Labrov has no flash, Hansama has no flash cleanse. If it was difficult to outplay the flanks before, it's next to impossible now. They need a fight that's just a standard front to back under a tower where they can kite back in one direction, and that's where Hansama can actually thrive. Because if they leave their base, it's impossible to find a good fight.
Very true. But outside of Supa, still relatively short range from MKOI, so the siege is difficult. They don't want to face check into this Orianna, the control mage from G2, providing a bit more protection. So as big as this Baron looks, a lot of it's just those tier 2s falling. Some of the kills that came through. Not enough to build a bigger lead as Myrwn once again. Power of the Kassadin W, the Pathmaker. Jojo finally splitting. This might be the wave where they can get more.
Everything is being pushed down towards this bottom side, and now Jojo getting a lone time top. Elyoya almost solo taking that mid lane turret. G2, they're being stretched too thin. They can't hold on.
But you can see Broken Blade in the isolated 1v1 if you can find it. Still powerful against this Kassadin. Still unconcerned about that damage.
But this Kassadin takes no damage. So it's so difficult wherever this Kassadin goes. MKOI can click forward. As they're gonna get the bot inhib, they're gonna get the mid inhib tower. It's just looking so damn dire for G2.
Jojopyun standing off to the side, Caps fishing for the perfect shockwave, needs to find it, anything less won't be enough. Poke going in from G2. MKOI happy to play this one slow, patient, controlled.
And Myrwn threatening the side. That's why G2 have to fall back. They can't expose the flank like that. And MKOI know it. They step forward proudly into the base of G2. And what do they have to respond with?
G2 can't find an angle. Ulti goes out. Supa, some major cooldowns burn. Maybe an opportunity to force a fight, but again, it's so tough. The Skarner and the Mundo are not instantaneous engage options. The hook from Labrov won't hit either.
But if you leave mid, top falls. If you don't leave mid, top falls. It's all over the place here. And G2 just trying desperately to push them back. Supa very low though. Means that maybe G2 have found the angle they need to hold on.
Myrwn might be in trouble here, as I think G2 could look to chase him with Broken Blade slowing him down, but they're gonna think the better of it. But they're able to hold on, losing only one inhibitor against this Snatcher. It's a small win, but it is still a win. But the question now is, 2 minutes, Ocean Soul spawning for MKOI. How does G2 leave their base and not get flanked and just die?
I wish I had an answer for you. Unfortunately, I'm not a professional player, so I don't have to answer that question, Jack. It is so damn difficult because the thing is it's all about Hansama. A perfect shockwave from Caps is great, but yeah, again, how do you leave your base to get it? Hansama, you have a lantern, you have so many tools to protect you, your flash and your cleanser up, but that is a 4K lead on that Naafiri, and that is a level 18 Kassadin. There are just not enough cooldowns in the game League of Legends to keep you alive. 4 supports could not keep this AD carry standing.
It's a 100 CS lead on this Naafiri. Elyoya has just quietly built up a massive advantage as he's been starving SkewMond of all his caps. It's a 4-level lead as well, with this Naafiri being level 18 to level 14 on the Skarner.
The siege is about to begin again. Jojopyun pushing in this top side. Supa in the mid. MKOI trying to see if this can be the last stand, if they can finally break G2, but Jojo going to spot Labrov.
Labrov flashing forward, looking for the hook. Predicts, but only gets to flash.
But look at the mid lane. The immediate pings on towards that inhibitor. MKOI want to collapse. Caps in trouble.
Q1 not going to connect. Q2 hitting Broken Blade, summoning the dogs forward, and he's taking a lot of damage. Ulti onto Caps. He just wants to force that cooldown out. If he's forced to use it on Naafiri, the fight is so easy. Elyoya hurts. Goes untargetable. Resets, pushing the mid lane in their favor. Soul 50 seconds away, Baron 20 seconds away, and G2 just aren't going to be able to approach the objective.
Super creeps to the bottom lane.
Goes in. Labrov missing the hook. It goes completely wide. The McHale's not doing much of anything. Ulti from SkewMond doesn't connect. Elyoya looking for the reset. Labrov going to get taken down by the dogs. Finding it. Finding the angle. MKOI trying to take over. Broken Blade.
Hansama gets reset.
Broken Blade. Hansama. Can they get it done? Myrwn running, but he's not so tanky anymore. Finally, they have the damage to get the job done. Broken Blade just continues to walk forward. 1,000 gold in his back pocket, but it's the TP from Jojo. Myrwn on a rampage. Caps taken out. Hansama is not enough. Vamos, KOI!
KOI might have just found their moment in the tank battle. It's Myrwn that wins.
Tailless, be damned! Oh, bro, be damned! Movistar KOI!
And what a damn series from Movistar KOI here, as they show, despite a tough early game, that they can bounce back and they can dominate as they win the spring split.
They were supposed to be the most inconsistent, the most unreliable, but every single time they have standed tall, they have faced that challenge, and they have come out on top.
The moniker of most improved, the moniker of the hardest working, but it's the trophy ceremony presented by Kia that is their prize at the end. Cheer and clap and be proud of your LEC champions, Movistar KOI!
Feels so well earned. A team of what feels like 5 friends just worked so hard.
For Elyoya, wanted a new team, a new lineup, built around him. Players he had faith in for so many years showing up. Players no one expected. Jojopyun lifting the trophy in EU.
Myrwn lifting his first ever title.
So deserved. I'm so happy for Myrwn. One of the best players I've ever played with. Incredibly hard worker, incredibly intelligent. His creative thinking. It's nice to see. It's crazy that the return of Melset really feels like it brought a new life to this team.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Who shows up on the day, who finds that momentum in the final moments of the season. And for so many teams, the knowledge that they had locked MSI, even if consciously they knew they wanted more, would undercut that desire, that drive to win here domestically, but not for Movistar KOI.
But it has been a long, hard-fought road. Winter last year, the first time so many of these players played in the LEC, it looked like maybe they could do it only to be denied by G2. But just over a year later, with blood, sweat and tears these guys have put in over the course of that period, they now stand as the champions of Europe, and such a well-deserved title for everyone on that stage.
It feels like a new era of our league. It's no longer G2 domination as they lose back-to-back splits.
And we're in a world where, by default, because it's always been this way, I expect a new team to rise and be the undisputed #1. But perhaps for the first time in the history of our league, it will never be a safe bet. There will never be an easy answer to who comes out on top. With the momentum MKOI have now, with the performance they showed today, I imagine it'll be them looking to stamp their name on successive trophies to build their own dynasty.
And become the new team that everyone looks at for that rivalry. It was KC that looked at them, now maybe G2 that are looking at them as well. An incredible performance from MKOI to take themselves to the top.
It feels so poetic in this France versus Spain rivalry.
Of course, you've heard it now from us. Let's hear from one of the victors themselves. Lore is standing by with Elyoya.
Thank Thank you so much, guys. Elyoya, congratulations on winning your fourth LEC title. What are your first reactions after winning this one?
I mean, it's a lot of emotions right now. They are all really positive. I have a special relationship with this LEC. I feel like I've been chasing it for so long, like for 2 years, since I was the last time I won it. I feel like I've worked so hard for this one. I have to be thankful to everyone of my team because yeah, it was not only me. We are a team.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, it's really special that I'm able to win this one.
Jojo, you're here, so I actually have to ask. You came in the LEC wanting to shit on EMID. Not only you're qualified in MSI as a North American import, but you also won an LEC title.
I mean, I don't know, words can't explain it. I think we worked way harder than any other team this split. We went through so many ups and downs, I can't even describe how many, so it was all worth it, you know? No joke, I knew this would happen with how hard we prepared, how hard we practiced, so I'm just happy.
Elyoya, do you have any words on the very first North American import we had in the league, Jojopyun?
I mean, I think he proved he is the best in Europe. He came from NA after beating me. He beat me, now he comes here, he beats everyone. Yeah, I think he proved how good he is. I also have to be thankful because he's been a really great teammate. I really missed this from people. I think he's been really hungry since the beginning. I think that was lacking a lot in my previous team, so I'm really thankful that I'm surrounded by people like him.
Absolutely. Jojo.
The glazing is kind of crazy.
The glazing is crazy, but the glazing is deserved. Anything you want to tell about your jungler before I let you join Sharks?
No, but really, I mean, Yoya is definitely the most hungry and passionate player I've ever played with. So I think the fire, especially that came from me, it's just contagious because I think just Yoya sets an example as a leader. He really wants to win, which makes everybody want to win that much more. So I couldn't have asked for a better leader, you know? Cabra. Congratulations,
Yoya. Congratulations again. I have so much I want to ask you because in the LEC season finals, not season finals, Spring finals teaser, rather, you said that you work more than anyone else. Tell me about your dedication, your work ethic, and the work you put in to get in here today.
I mean, for sure, we've worked more than any other team. I think there is just no more hours in the day to work. Like, we've been through a lot. We've been through rain, we've been through storm. Sometimes I was making a storm, sometimes Jojopyun was making it rain. Yeah, I feel like we've been through so much and we put so much work because we really wanted it. So it was it was a matter of time that we would get it.
Any comments on your very first LEC title? Not a lot of players get to win in.
I mean, it's hard to take it all in right now because, I don't know, I think just probably tonight I'll go crazy. Right now I'm I'm feeling too many emotions, so I don't know how I feel right now, but it's just, I'm grateful to be here, you know?
Elyoya, this is your fourth title. Do you want to dedicate this one to someone special?
Yeah, I mean, this one I want to dedicate to Melzet. He's been with me since the beginning of my career, and just now he had a child. I hope I can make this memory as special or as close as I can to what he's feeling right now with his son, but yeah, just all the work that he has always put in, all the feelings that he has just shared with me and everything. I mean, this one's for him, he earned it, and also for his son and Laura, yeah.
Shout out to him.
I agree. Melzet's GOAT, Zev GOAT, Hansen GOAT, Lewis GOAT. I mean, just all our coaches have done an amazing job. Without them, I don't know, we'd be kind of cooked, so.
Do you guys want to give a shout out to the fans as well?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all the fans that are supporting us. Shout out to, this is personal, but shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, my friends, my girlfriend, everybody watching, you know, it's just.
Sorry, I have to also do a last one.
Please go ahead.
Also, I mean, thank you, Ibai, thank you, co-streamers, thank you everyone that has been a part of the journey. We are a team, the people supporting is a team. We are not only the players, it's also the people behind. I know the co-streamers behind. I know how much behind Ibai has done for this project. So, yeah, I think this LEC is also for you, and obviously to my parents that have always been with me. So, yeah.
A lot of emotions on this stage right now, guys. Thank you so much. We're not done. We're gonna hear from the whole team. We're gonna hear more from you as well. So for now, I'm gonna send it over to Sharks. Take it away.